Yeah, and every game has its own challenges. You know, tonight, no Ja Morant in the lineup. I thought it changed the way Memphis was attacking the Lakers. There was more ball movement, multiple guys included in what they had going on. But the second half, when you have, again, we talked about in the pregame, two closers essentially in LeBron and Luka, if they're not turning the basketball over, it's going to be difficult to stop them from getting a quality shot because LeBron can force you to put two on the ball. And then now the defense is in dominoes in rotation, and then Luka can do the same thing, and that makes it hard to get stops in the fourth quarter.
And Fish and James, you saw different actions down the stretch, too. Not a lot of ISO. You saw LeBron operating out of the post, then a double team. You saw the duck in by Vando, saw the good ball movement as well.
Take it, Fish.
Yeah, I mean, the Grizzlies almost had to go to a little bit of a zone. Whenever LeBron gets into that mid-post area, they were trying to bring a second guy over. He dumped it off to Jackson Hayes for a dunk. He got Vando on a cut. And so teams that have to put a second guy on LeBron, you're done. He's going to pick your defense apart. Luka actually was the beneficiary of 2 catch-and-shoot threes in the second half, which is something that's very rare for him. Most of his threes are off the dribble. And so when the games are close, the Lakers are built to have a chance to win those games every night. I also think it's a positive sign that, I mean, you guys have been doing this longer than I have. How many nights were there frustrations around not winning the games you're supposed to win?
Mm-hmm. Many nights, Fish.
Think about the nights, the difference between
even before you knew who I was,
a 7
Derek.
seed and a 3 seed because of bad regular season losses. Yeah. And so you notch another one under your belt of like beating a team that's under 500 that you're supposed to beat, and they got the job done tonight.
So without AR, we talked in the pregame show for the month of January. Rui's not going on that road trip, so hopefully he's back, and Gabe comes back at some point, maybe for that Bucks game. We talked about the big three. No AR. How do you find success? We talked about different guys stepping up. The last 2 games, it has been Jake LaRavia. He has been into that starting lineup. We're going to talk Jake in a second, but look at what he has added. 26 points, LeBron 26, Luka 36. On Friday night, they combined for 86 points. Tonight, James, they combined for 88 points. They were fantastic on both ends of the floor, especially down the stretch. I do want to start with LeBron. Another big fourth quarter. He had 10 on Friday night in the fourth, 11 tonight. He also ended up with 10 assists and 7 rebounds.
Yeah, and again, the one turnover is very impressive as well, for as much as he handled the ball. He's very poised, and he understands that, you know, guys like Vanderbilt, when he breaks down the defense, is going to be looking for a cut. Jake, all those guys, Ayton. So LeBron he's playing smart basketball. He's in shape. He's got his stamina, and he's just taking what the defense gives him. I don't think he's forcing the issue. Like sometimes he'll try to force the issue with the drive or try to do too much. But I think he's just letting the game come to him when he guys just score a nice spin move right there, and then knocking down big shots. He's just being LeBron.
And I think with LeBron as well, like a subtle thing that has happened. I mean, with all the guys out for Memphis, most of their guys were second group guys. But a subtle thing that the Dallas Mavericks did with Dirk Nowitzki 10-11 when they went on their run, he would take his rest in the middle of the quarter. And you're seeing that the Lakers are doing that with LeBron. Right around the 5.5-minute mark.
Just quick.
He takes maybe 90 seconds, 2 minutes, and then he finishes the quarter. In a lot of those situations, he's playing against second lineup guys, and the Lakers are in the bonus. So now when he comes back in to finish quarters and finish halves, the Lakers are in the bonus. He can put you at the free throw line, but he's also playing against second lineup guys that now he's creating more opportunities for himself and his teammates, and that's also allowing him to have those fresh legs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, great point there, Fish, as LeBron ends up with 26 points on 8 of 14, 2 of 7 from 3, also the 7 rebounds and the 10 assists. And big game, I'm glad you brought that up. Just 1 turnover with the high usage, very important. Okay, let's switch to Jake LaRavia. 47 points in 2 games against his former team. He had 26 tonight, also the 5 rebounds and the 4 assists. He's playing that full game, James. We talked in the pregame show, listen, he's going to play hard, he's going to play defense, he's going to rebound. When he adds offense to his game and he's getting more and more confidence, that makes the Lakers tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, look, in the absence of Austin, I mean, Jake is not arrived as an Austin Reeves yet, but he does give you a lot of the same qualities and more with his size, his ability to defend, rebound. He gives you a little bit more in that area. And offensively, Geeter, he's not afraid to knock down the three. He's not afraid to put it on the floor and, create some contact and get to the line. So, yeah, they're missing Austin Reeves, his great stat line, his numbers, his getting to the line. But in his absence, Jake is coming in and providing a threat that they need, and he's doing a pretty good job at it.
And you can tell that, like, he's shooting the shots that they want him to shoot. When you're on the floor with LeBron and Luka, and the defense is tilting, trying to bring a low guy over and load, and you saw some of those skip passes over the top to the defense, he's wide open. You have to not only take those, but make enough of them to now have the defense closing out in a long way. And then you saw in those clips, he was able to drive the ball, get into the paint, spin through contact for one finish, go through the chest of another guy on a second finish. And so he has the type of game that if he needs to score, he can. But the difference with him with other guys is he could play 31 minutes and only score 7 points, but he's still rebounding. He's still playing defense. No turnovers
still
tonight.
A plus and a plus minus.
He's still going to be a positive contributor to winning, and it's not always just making shots the way he has the last couple nights.
Yeah, tonight he was 40% from 3, 4 of 10. And I also want to note, in a year of injuries that have piled up for the Lakers, he's the only guy that's played. It's in that scenario, second only to the OKC Thunder, who have 24 such wins. So big game, the Lakers pulling away late fourth, as we've seen them do throughout the season. They're now 21-11. They got some great role player games, and also the 2 stars delivered, of course. What did you like about the way they finished that game?
The defense. I think in clutch minutes down the stretch, they do pretty good in defense. Just not overall and ranking and like overall, but I thought the defense was pretty good. I think less turnovers, playing smart, and not turning the ball over, and making right decisions, getting good shots as opposed to shots with the shot clock running down. And they were able to move the basketball, I think, a little bit better down the stretch and use versatile people. Didn't depend on Luka all the way down. Jake played well. They got some contributions from other players. LeBron did an excellent job in the absence of Reeves to kind of lead the team and show his experience down the stretch.
Well, winning close games especially, you saw there on the graph, the Lakers using a 12-2 run in the fourth quarter to kind of get that separation. When you have Luka Doncic and LeBron James on the court in fourth quarters of close games, their ability to play chess with the basketball court and map out where people are, which moves to make, how to take advantage of matchups, and how to create foul scenarios where you can get to the free throw line in the fourth quarter, which is also very important. The Lakers will be in good shape if it's close late. The key is it being close late and not the losses we've seen before that have been by double digits or more prior to those games where they've won if it's close down the stretch.
So, guys, here comes the hard part. You're playing this team again 48 hours later. James, it's like a playoff series, which you two have a lot of experience, more than most, in that situation. So when you play a team 2 days later after a win, what kind of adjustments are you looking at in terms of trying to get the sweep?
Well, you have to look at, I guess the adjustments that the Grizzlies will make. I think Jackson had a really good game. Ja had a mediocre game.
That's the one that scares me, James.
That's the one that scares me. So if you put, complete, team together, and the Grizzlies have been playing well of late, so you have to expect that they're going to come out and have a good team effort. So, I expect Ja to play well. I expect them to, have pace, a little bit more pace. They're up and down team. They cause turnovers, so they're definitely going to come back, and try to play the game that they're accustomed to play. But Jackson was the one that they couldn't, really handle the other night.
Yeah, and he's usually in foul trouble, which he was still, but still went for 27 points. Fish, as a coach in this situation, and James kind of hit on it, are you looking more at what Memphis might do to change things up? I mean, obviously their bench plays a huge part in what this team does.
Yeah, I mean, it's very I don't want to say rare. It's happened more in the NBA in recent years with these 2-game sets where you're playing the same team, and it's similar to a playoff type of matchup. I think in the regular season, especially still this early, my guess is that Coach Redick and the staff are still just focused on day-to-day habits and winning the day, and not so much major adjustments from the last game to this game, but actually doing the same things, just better and at a higher level. We don't have to change our strategy, but the miscommunications, the breakdowns on defense that we gave up, not sprinting back in transition defense, the situations where we could have made one more pass and gotten a better shot instead of an okay shot. Those things I think they'll just look to shore up and not necessarily see a lineup adjustment or a wholesale change that you might see in a playoff situation.
Don't turn the ball over 21 times?
That would help.
That would help. That's another adjustment.
For sure.
All right, let's check in with Mike Trudell joining us from Crypto.
Hey, Luka. So let's start on the defensive end, right? First half, you give up 65 points, and it was 44 in the second half before a couple of late shots there from Wells. What was better defensively?
We're good. I think in the first quarter, in the first half, they got a lot of transition points. That's what we talk about in the halftime. We got to get back quicker, and that's what we did.
I know there have been a lot of threes this year that you feel like you usually make that just haven't gone down. The two that you hit, though, that kind of sunk the game. It almost looks like you're laughing as if, okay, now they go in. What's going through your head when those finally go through the bucket?
I was just smiling. I was happy. I made 2 threes in a row. I was happy. But those are good shots, I gotta keep working on that, just like every day in practice, and be confident.
You and LeBron had a lot of two-man action in the fourth quarter. What kind of chemistry are you guys finding with each other to just make sure that the team gets a good shot?
Great. That's how we got to close game downs. We were down, 4, I think, something like that in the fourth quarter. We came back 1 by 6. That's what we got to do. We got to close out games between me and Bro. But I think Jake was amazing today. Dia was good. So props to everybody.
Last one for you. So now 12-0 in clutch games. That's the same question after last game, right? You guys are really good in those moments. What is it on the defense and on offense that's making you win these tight games?
Yeah, if we play defense like we play in the second half, we can beat, I think, a lot of teams. So we had to lock in the second half. But the offense is rolling. We're sharing the ball. Had three turnovers in the first quarter. They had to carry the ball finally, so got to do more of that.
All right, thank you, Luka.
Thank you.
JJ, I think it was 65 points in the first half and then 44 until, the final minute or two when Wells was hitting those shots. So where did the defense get better, and what was the halftime message?
We asked the guys at halftime, was there anything they were doing that we needed to make adjustments on? And they said, absolutely not. I mean, it was some of it was, again, that early offense. I think sometimes when a star is out and a guy who has the ball a lot, it certainly gives guys opportunities. It gives guys, they're more aggressive, but I also think the way a team plays can change. And I thought we picked up the cadence of that. They were running basically a loop into a side pick and roll or a step up into swing angle. Like, it was just the same stuff over and over again. So I think eventually, we just picked up on the cadence and the pattern of it, more physical. DA in the second half defensively was awesome, and really in that fourth quarter had some big time plays at the rim for us. Just communication was better. It was just all around, just, sometimes it's not, hey, can we guard this action, or hey, how do we guard this one player? Sometimes it's just a collective effort and a collective spirit to get back and guard.
You've spoken about LeBron and Luka in that two-man game. And what specifically were you getting out of that, and how often was that set up versus them just kind of working together in the fourth, especially?
Yeah, that's just our 88. it was great for us down the stretch the other night. We had called an ATO and told them, the next time down, run 88, and then we set up a couple of variations out of it. Bron had come to me earlier in the game. He did a really good job of just making passes out of that. Jackson had a big dunk on Friday night, so Sunday? Yeah, Friday night. So he felt really comfortable as like a passer out of that. So we ran a couple of different variations out of timeouts, but it just was a good action. And one of the things I challenged the guys on before the game was our execution overall and our ATO execution, it was better tonight. And I thought down the stretch it was really good. Only one F up on an ATO, so that'd be a silly fine right there. But other than that, it was good.
You've told us that part of the reason why Jake's acquitted himself so well to this team is that the coaching staff asked him to do stuff and he goes out and does it. I doubt you asked him to score 20-plus points per game, but he's given it to you out of this last 2 games against Memphis. How does that scoring punch help with all these bodies you have out right now?
Yeah, I told him in front of the group after the game, I think particularly in that first half, his aggressiveness and confidence was really good for us. The thing that we've tried to really instill and coach him on all season is 0.5 decision making, being catch and shoot ready. If you are attacking a closeout and you have an advantage, maintain the advantage, and both of those things require confidence and requires aggressiveness. So, just a fantastic game from him. Another good game from him defensively as well, with deflections and being disruptive.
You mentioned the ATOs, but just generally speaking tonight, how did it feel like your group handled the simple things by and large?
Much better. There was, you can probably point to a handful of plays where it wasn't great, but I thought the intent overall was at the very least a A-. It was good for execution.
JJ, you talked yesterday about wanting to make sure you got more touches to DeAndre, especially early. Just how do you feel like you guys did in that, and what did you think of DeAndre's kind of overall engagement and energy throughout the game?
He was great throughout the game, and we ran the first play for him, got him another couple touches early. I think that was good for him to just touch the basketball and feel like he's a part of the offense. It's a tale as old as time for a big guy. That's the reality of being a big. Someone has to pass you the ball. You're not initiating the offense, and there were some things that we kind of set up for him to get the ball, and I thought he did a great job, which we coached up yesterday in film, and we coached on the court in reference to that post up with LeBron and Jackson. That's the weak spot against the post, and he did a good job of playing out of that at times beyond just pick and roll.
JJ, kind of to that point, I think even DeAndre's acknowledged he's a different kind of big, as opposed to you have your star bigs who have the possession of the ball mostly, and then you have your athletic bigs who are rim runners, finishers.
Yeah.
Is that just something that you're going to have to continue to be a reminder of? Let's keep DA involved, even if it's early, just to make sure that presence is still there.
Yeah.
On the interior.
Yeah, I mean, he's a highly skilled big. I mean, that there's not many of those left in today's NBA, just in terms of touch and shooting from the areas that he likes to get the ball. And yeah, it's on us as coaches, and it's on players to make sure that he feels involved.
JJ, you mentioned a little bit ago that your team is undefeated when they hit 30 assists. Like, what did you like about not just getting to that number, but with the low turnovers that went along with getting to that number?
Yeah, it's a big time step just in terms of taking care of the ball. We had 26 potential assists in the first half. Only converted on 12 of those. It was one of the things I brought up, just continuing to trust each other. Look, we haven't been a very good shooting team, and there's probably a great deal of those potential assists that were kick out, catch and shoot threes. I thought our guys just continued to trust the pass.
Coach, you mentioned before that LaRavia was like the first call, during the free agency period. Is this kind of what you envisioned as what he could be, or do you feel like he's kind of even gone past what your expectations were of him?
You're not going to count on him like scoring 26 a night. He's had a number of scoring games for us. We knew that he was, by the metrics, a disruptive defender, something that we were really searching for because we were bottom third in the league last year in block steals and deflections. He's probably better defensively. Yeah, he is better defensively. He's been one of our most consistent guys, if not our most consistent guy on that end of the floor. But I think the thing that stands out with him is, I was talking with a close friend of mine the other day about Jake, and I was just telling him, like, he's one of the guys that his care factor is high all the time. Those are the guys that are really, really fun to coach. Thanks.
Straight wide receiver type catch this time. Was that DeAndre that threw this one? He had little QB skills too?
Yeah. I mean, he got me for a lob early in the season, not too many games ago, and then another one there. So it's my job to go up and get it, and I was taught to get it at his highest peak, so I got it.
You've seen this pattern in the NBA so many times where the other team's kind of star player or player that has the ball a lot, and there can be an adjustment early. It seems like you guys started to figure out a little bit better in the second half. Or what did you see as you improved overall as a team?
Yeah, I mean, they played exceptional basketball in the first half, and we knew we was going to get their best shot, especially after the kind of the playoff type of format. Team always make the adjustments coming to the next game, better prepared. So I think it's just in the second half we started to crack the code a little bit. Was able to get the lead down in the third. They kind of broke away a little bit again, but we just kept after it and was able to have a great fourth quarter.
Next man up type of season for you guys because of cascading injuries. I don't think Jake's kind of profile as a player was a 25-point per game scorer, but his last two games certainly the scoring punch helped you. How's he been a benefit to the team, especially because you guys were kind of going through doldrums at the end of December?
I mean, we need his ability to, score bunches at times. Obviously, with AR and Rui, Gabe out. Obviously, that's a lot of points, especially from AR and Rui. So, to have that, that step up, from Jake has been, we've needed it, obviously, and he's just playing with a lot of confidence, and we need him to continue that.
You guys, JJ told us pregame that you guys have simplified the playbook a little bit, or specifically the offense with all the injuries and different things like that. Just in a general sense, how good has this team been at the quote-unquote simple things?
Well, I mean, in order to win and at the highest level, you have to be able to do the simple things. You have to be able to execute after timeouts, dead balls. You have to execute coming out of the locker room. You have to have a game plan to execute that. So you can't execute the big things if you don't execute the small things, and play winning basketball from that standpoint. So we've been able to do that lately.
Did you see? I'm sorry, Clint. Did you see a more intent and focus on that in these last two games? When we don't turn the ball over, we can be pretty good. So we've done a good job of not turning the ball over as much.
You mentioned after your first game back this season that having to miss the beginning of the season for the first time in combination with just that awareness of that time was kind of dwindling for you, made you a lot more present and in the moment. Yeah. Has that carried through the rest of the season for you, and how has that manifested for you in moments like, for example, the fourth quarter tonight where you're in kind of a flow state? Yeah,
I mean, just appreciating every moment, obviously, and just excited about what the next moment has, if it's during the game or if it's tomorrow or whatever the case may be. So for me, like I said, it was the first time I've ever not been ready for the start of the season. I missed the whole preseason, whole training camp, missed the first 14, whatever, 15, whatever games it was. So behind the 8-ball, and I couldn't really train like I'm accustomed to training in the summertime. So I was behind the 8-ball, but just being able to appreciate it and getting another opportunity to be able to get my body where it needs to be to go out and perform with these guys, perform against the opposition. But also knowing that, like I said, my time is definitely I'm on the other side of the hill than the first part of the hill. So, just appreciating it all.
You mentioned a couple or a few games ago that you're not on the ball as much as you were at previous points in your career, but despite that, you're still against the free throw line at a high level. I think your highest free throw rate since your first year as a Laker. What's helping you do that, even though your usage may look different than how it used to?
I don't know, just being a complete basketball player. I have to be able to, change the landscape of how I play up according to how our team wants to play. So I've been playing off the ball, obviously, pretty much the majority of the season. So picking spots and figuring out ways how I can still be productive to help us, play winning basketball when I'm on the floor, both offensively and defensively. So I don't know. I don't have any holes in my game, so it helps to be able to do whatever the team needs at that particular moment.
And the game was kind of back and forth there, and then the fourth, you made some really key plays on both sides of the ball. Can you just talk about kind of what happened in that fourth quarter run that kind of turned the game from a loss to a win?
Really the effort plays. Just making effort plays down the stretch. Brian and Luka, just really leading the way and just talking on both ends of the floor. Jake being aggressive on both ends of the floor. Just really got the team going in the bench. Just not having a seat and just, really cheering for the guys on the floor.
DeAndre, you've talked this season a lot about being, the defensive anchor back there in the paint. When you got guys like Marcus and Jake, who are getting their hands in the passing lanes, stuff like that, how does that kind of make your job a little easier defensively?
Before those passes and, before they get those steals in the lane, they talking and communicating from the get-go. Just loud early talk, just making us comfortable, especially when I'm in the pick and roll and I can't see what's going on behind me. Having Vando out there, just totally boxing my dude out and him just, scooping up those offensive boards or closing out defensive possessions and, just him being, just an effort guy. Him and Marcus, having those guys, make second efforts, it's contagious, and it's black and white, to where the team needs it, and that's how we get our offense going.
After the Houston game, JJ said there was dialogue between coaches and players, and it was about not only communicating what the coaches want, but what the players need and want to, and kind of in that same spirit, he told us going into this one, we need to get DA more touches. I think you scored on the first possession. Not long after that, you scored. You had a seal where you dunked on Jaren Jackson Jr. How much did you feel recognized by that adjustment in game plan, and did that help your overall night tonight?
How did it feel personally?
Yeah.
What are you asking?
Yeah. How did that approach or change in the approach to the game plan help your overall effort tonight?
We're running the right way. Bigs can't feed themselves, and I just try my best to do what I can, to bring effort, and I trust my playmakers out there to find me.
DeAndre, JJ pointed to your defense in the second half specifically. Anything that you saw the way Memphis was playing, or that you kind of figured out pattern-wise that helped there?
They try to get a little physical down the stretch and play about like three bigs. Made us do a lot of like size switching. Made us go 1 through 5, and it brought us into a playoff environment where everybody had to really guard their own yard and close out these possessions because how big and lengthy they were on the court, and just getting the rebound and getting on the break because they were crashing, so we had that advantage on offense in transition. Thank you, guys.
Jake, how much is your confidence growing more and more as you continue to star in your role?
I think I'm just trusting the work that I've been putting in recently. Obviously, shot was struggling early on, and coaches telling me, players telling me, just keep shooting the ball. They trust me. I trust myself. So it's really just about going into the game and then doing it.
Jake, Coach J.J. Redick talked about just how your development in such a short period of time is, he's giving you high praise on how you've just kind of reacted to the moment. What do you think has kind of been the impetus for your reaction to, having the opportunity to start?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm very much a player where when you tell me the things that you want me to do, I'm going to just go out there and do them. So, I've had plenty of conversations with JJ. With my coach Bo, and they tell me what they want me to do out there, and I kind of just go out there and I try my best to do, that every game. Shots aren't going to fall every game, but I can control, the effort that I bring to the game, crashing every time. They talk about offensive crash rate. I'm just trying to do that every night and just bring an energy to this team.
Jake, I know obviously you're always trying to do whatever you have to do and be a star in your role and win every game, but is it even just a little bit sweeter that a couple of your best games came against a team you used to play for?
I had my game against them when I was with Sacramento after they traded me. It's fun to play against the guys that I know, but there's nothing outside of just the fact that it's a regular game.
Jake, what makes you such a really good defender? What are you trying to do out there?
I don't know. I play hard. I play really hard. I try and understand the tendencies of the players that I'm guarding. Like, I'm not the most laterally quick player, not the most athletic, but I can understand what players like to do and what their tendencies are, and then I can kind of play off of that. And then I am really good at just getting deflections and playing with my hands.
Hey Jake, you took 10 threes tonight, which is your season high. How much comfortable do you feel finding your shots within the offense now versus when the season started?
Yeah, I mean, very comfortable. I mean, I thought I probably could have maybe shot even two or three more tonight that I might have passed up, but kind of just new stepping stones each game, growing in the way that I'm playing offensively, obviously with AR out. Just, this is one of those hats that I was talking about where I am able to do this. So it's been good.
Jake, from your time in Memphis and here with the Lakers now, what would you say you've improved the most on?
Decision making on both sides of the ball, I'd say, and then I think my defense has gotten better every year that I've been in the league. But yeah, on the offensive side, probably decision making, then just overall defense.
Jake, JJ's talked before about, matching other teams' physicality, especially from the jump. How do you feel, you guys kind of responded to that tonight, and how do you kind of fit into that equation there?
Yeah, I think this was another game where we really picked it up down in the clutch time. Intensity, effort, physicality, all those things. We really, took it to another level in that last however many minutes it was. And my role when I'm out there is to try and do that, the whole time I'm out there. But, when it's time to really lock in, kind of just to be that energy guy, and hopefully, the team can feed off me.
Thanks, Jake.